Hello, friends. Welcome to Turn a Stone Tarot. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome in. I'm glad you found this reading. For today's reading, we're going to be asking Spirit for advice about how to feel better. If you find yourself feeling less than your best at the present time, then this reading is for you. We're going to be checking in with your spirit guides for any advice, any guidance, any recommendations or insights they may have for you to process your current feelings, to integrate your current feelings, to help you deal with any feeling states which may be difficult to move through. So hopefully you can gain something useful and beneficial to your life through these messages here today. I have arranged your reading today into 3 piles. Pile 1 is the blue feather, pile 2 is the brown feather, and pile 3 is the white feather with the black stripe. Timestamps are in the description box below. Please click ahead to your reading, and I will see you in your chosen group. Hello, Pile 1. Welcome to your reading. This is your message from Spirit for when you want to feel better. So before I get started, I just want to remind you that this is not intended to be professional advice in any way. Of course, if you feel the need for professional guidance in whatever you're feeling or experiencing, please consult the appropriate professionals. These are simply some messages of encouragement, things to consider, possibilities, but it is in no way intended to be any kind of professional advice whatsoever. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the cards that came out for you. So the card that you were drawn to in the intro is the beautiful Bluebird card. It says, "You are being gifted with blessings of happiness and peace." You are being gifted with blessings of happiness and peace. This is a delightful little card, Pile 1. I was very happy to see this card for you. You may be struggling around a sense of happiness or a sense of peace at the time that you're coming to this reading, but this is Spirit's way of letting you know that these things are kind of being worked through in the spirit world as well as within your own being at the present time. So do take encouragement from that. I also want to read you the Bluebird book definition so that you can get the intended meaning for this card as well, because I think it may be helpful. It says, "The bluebird is usually associated with qualities of joy, peace, harmony, and union. Bluebirds are often pictured in happy pairs, signifying fidelity and blissful partnerships. Many stories surround bluebird, from native folklore to modern-day tales. The color blue is significant in its beauty, its connection to the element of air, and to the throat chakra. The beautiful bluebird asks us to examine our own sense of inner peace and self-love. The happiness we seek begins on the inside. The bluebird flies into your space to deliver the great blessings of peace, joy, and happiness. This messenger reminds you to honor the purity of your speech and communication, especially those messages that you feed to yourself. The lightness and color of bluebird help to make you aware of the spiritual links of sky and the realms beyond. Invite the tranquility of bluebird into any area of your life that could use more lightness. Then share the energy of bluebird with those around you. Have you forgotten the simple pleasures of life? Bluebird is here to remind you that it's okay to let go, and fly for sheer pleasure. As you do, feel the weight of life lifted and soar higher up into the blue sky. Its energies are happiness, joy, and peace. It represents the seasons of winter and spring. It's of the air element. The color is blue. And the affirmation is, I invite a deeper sense of peace and joy into my life. I invite a deeper sense of peace and joy into my life. So beautiful little start to your reading, my Pile 1. I think that's a very good sign for you and for the messages that you're about to hear in this reading. So you might want to keep that bluebird in mind in the days and weeks to come here. So let's take a look at your cards. I first started your reading by asking Spirit to tell me a little bit about your current state. Obviously, if you're coming to the Feel Better reading, you might be feeling little bit off in some regard. And so I asked for some information about that, and I'm getting we got the Emperor and the Three of Cups as an answer to that question. So I'm getting a few different scenarios. Of course, this is a general reading, so it applies to many different people in many different circumstances. But some of the possibilities I'm hearing are obviously some problems in love. With the Three of Cups, this is often the card of third parties. So maybe you were in a love or a relationship situation and another person kind of came into the picture. You get the idea there. So that is certainly a possibility for some people watching this reading. For other people watching this reading, I heard family squabble. The Emperor is often associated with the father. It doesn't have to be the father, it could be a grandfather, it could be another parental figure, usually somebody more senior in the family with the Emperor. And the Three of Cups, for me, this card often kind of indicates some, oh, some being left outside of the circle, perhaps. I think of, again, that sense of interlopers, maybe somebody, stuck their nose in where it didn't belong, that kind of energy. Or just a sense of, people not always getting along, in scenarios of three people, it can be often difficult to maintain harmony amongst, three different viewpoints. So there may have been a situation with the Ten of Pentacles here. I can't help but think, maybe it was a family legacy situation, maybe a family business or a will or something of that nature. It doesn't have to be, can certainly be something else. But some kind of not being able to really get along within the family for whatever reason, things not going, smoothly in that regard. And then for others of you, I'm also hearing work. So, perhaps there was a situation at work where you felt left out in some regard, maybe passed over for a promotion in some regard, or passed over for a new position. Um, it's interesting with this emperor here. I'm noticing, how this figure, his mouth is closed. You can't really see his lips. So I'm getting the sense of a silence, maybe a decision being made, and the decision maybe wasn't even communicated to you, or you weren't consulted in some way, that something important was decided and you weren't consulted, maybe you weren't even informed, and you didn't find out about it until later. So all kinds of possibilities here with this combination. For a few of you too, I'm even hearing, with this emperor here, this can often be someone in a position of authority. And again, I'm getting the sense of some decision being made. And with the Three of Cups, maybe other people were favored in a situation. And with this Queen of Wands in reverse, I'm getting the sense, I'm hearing words about loss of control. So maybe some sort of situation was made that you didn't have any control over, or you didn't feel in control of in any way. Certainly if someone in an organization is making a decision about us, often, that's completely out of our hands and we don't have a way to control or influence that. So it could be a scenario like this. And I think this situation has left you, with this Three of Cups here, you may be feeling left out. With this Queen of Wands, I think you may be feeling a little bit disempowered with the Queen of Wands coming up in reverse, as if you lost control of the situation, you weren't in control of the situation, you feel like this decision was simply made or done and you couldn't do anything about it. Certainly, that is a situation we can all relate to. I think that, happens to most of us in life at some point or another. With the Emperor and the Three of Cups, though, I really am getting a sense of people being the source of whatever this discontent is that you're feeling in your life right now. It was something that was done, by human beings here with the Emperor and the Three of Cups. Some way that humans have acted or behaved that's left you feeling, less than your best here. But I think there is very good news for you. I do see some beautiful cards here for you at the end of your spread. You've got the Ten of Pentacles, which is a card of, happy communities, happy home life. It's a card of abundance. So, new opportunities perhaps for more money, more prosperity, and all kinds of things. And then you have the King of Cups, which is often a card of a loving, it can be a card of a loving suitor, a card of somebody who's really mastered the emotional realm. So, maybe this is you yourself having going through this process. Maybe you're mastering some level of emotional maturity. And that's, I think, going to serve you very well into the future. I think you are going to be in a position to be very generous. If you're not there at the present time, I think that is something that you can look forward to in the future. I am seeing here with the Three of Pentacles, this is a card of wanting to build something, wanting people to get along, wanting to collaborate with others. It's the card of collaborating with others. So, perhaps if if there has been a break in a relationship of some kind, maybe you're still working through the details of some kind of agreement to continue operating harmoniously going forward. Maybe that's a child custody agreement or taking care of a pet or a property together, something like that. I do see, Spirit is encouraging collaboration here with the Three of Pentacles. So if there are collaborative details to be worked out, I think Spirit is very much in your favor here with that. Also, I'm hearing a bit about emotion, that I think whatever difficulty that you're feeling at the current time, with this King of Cups card, I am hearing that this is, a passing state of being. So I think, if you are feeling some difficult emotions around whatever has transpired, this is simply a phase that you will pass through. It's not going to last forever. There will be changes coming up for you that will be lighter and brighter for you. There's more lightness and brightness on your horizon. So, take heart in the temporary nature of whatever you're feeling at the present time. As I was putting your reading together, I was reminded of an acronym that I heard many years ago. And I think it's from the spiritual teacher Tara Brach. If you're familiar with Tara Brach, her last name is spelled B-R-A-C-H. And she had this wonderful acronym, RAIN, R-A-I-N. And if memory serves, the idea was whenever you felt, a difficult emotion, the first step was to recognize that the difficult emotion was present. So that might be a good place to start, just really recognizing whatever you're feeling at the present time. The second step was A in the RAIN acronym. And that was to accept the emotion. So recognize that it's there and accept that this is how you're feeling. We always have perfectly valid reasons for however we're feeling. Every feeling is information for us about our being and about our experience. So, being very accepting of the presence of this emotion, I think, could be helpful for you. The third step in RAIN was to integrate. So to take time to really allow yourself to feel that emotion, to, let it kind of permeate your being. Um, Allow it to process within yourself. So, be mindful of any ways you might want to push away an emotion, whether you're, just trying to go into screen time or something so you don't have to think about how you're feeling, or if you're, maybe reaching for that bag of chips, or, over exercising, or distracting yourself with work, all of those, kinds of coping mechanisms that we have for not spending time with our feelings. Just be very mindful of those so that you really allow whatever this difficult emotion is to to pass through, as the King of Cups suggests here. It wants to be felt. It's information for your being. It's information for your psyche and your heart and your body. And, it really wants to find expression. So I think accepting and integrating that emotion could be very useful. And then the N in rain is nurture. So really nurture yourself. If you need extra time off to, just process this emotion, see if you can carve out some extra time for yourself. If you can do something very loving for yourself, whether it's, eating nourishing food, or taking a walk in nature, or taking a warm bath, whatever fills up your senses and fills you up in however a way you are able to kind of show yourself the gift of love, the gift of appreciation. I think that can help to work with this difficult emotion too. It's always sort of calling us to pay attention to ourselves. I often think of those difficult emotions as like a crying child that wants to be tended to. So, how can you tend to this sort of crying child of emotion that you may be feeling as a result of whatever this situation has been for you? Because these things can often leave us feeling perhaps some grief, some sadness, some anger, even. All kinds of emotions can arise when people act in ways or make decisions that don't feel like they're in our best interests. So let me look at your oracle cards as well. I did draw a couple of oracle cards for additional advice from Spirit for you. And the first card that I drew, this is from the Greenwich Oracle deck. And Spirit is showing me the fog card. It says obscurity and feeling lost. Obscurity and feeling lost. So I was getting that sense, if you have been passed over for a promotion or some kind of position, that can lead us, feeling obscured or like not knowing our way. If this has been a relationship that has been affected in some way, often that can challenge our sense of identity, and we can experience a feeling of lostness when these kinds of relationship changes occur. So perfectly natural reaction. Again, I'm going to read you from the book for this card because I think it has important messages for you at this time. And it says, fog. Sometimes, for whatever reason, you can't see clearly. You find it difficult to think through an issue or feel lost in a sea of information. You may feel directionless or unable to identify a clear goal or path to a desired outcome. Being lost in fog or feeling foggy can challenge your sense of stability. Fog isn't a solid obstacle, however. It's like a veil, temporarily blurring your surroundings. Just because you can't see clearly doesn't mean the path isn't there. Carefully feel your way forward, one step at a time. Perhaps you need to move in a different direction to reach your destination. Sometimes all it takes is looking at a problem in a new way. The fog card prompts you to practice looking at things from other points of view. The reflection is, do you have a problem plaguing you that could benefit from a different perspective? And it's interesting because with this Queen of Wands in reverse, I was getting the sense of a different perspective as well, you know, kind of turning things upside down, seeing them a different way, perhaps, you know, looking at things from a different perspective may help you to rebuild here, as we see with this Three of Pentacles, the card of rebuilding, of building back up, of collaborating, of taking, you know, positive steps forward to create the future that you desire. You may have experienced something that left you questioning where your future is headed. But I think you can slowly begin to regain that, you know, step by step, little by little. I think this reading is suggesting that you will find yourself back on track again. And I also drew a Moonology manifestation card for you, and this is the last quarter moon in Capricorn card. It says, leave the past behind. Leave the past behind. And it's really interesting because it really follows closely on what I'm seeing in this King of Cups card here. And I can't help but think on the play of relationship. These are two ships here. And if you notice in this card, she's really looking at this one little ship here that's kind of gray and looking like it's, you know, no longer in service, while there's a very active ship, you know, kind of coming into, you know, harbor maybe, or coming in as this big, beautiful ship right here. But she's looking at this, you know, this little model of a ship that isn't really an active sailing vessel. And it very much reminds me of the leave the past behind card. It's kind of that sense of, you know, looking at past things that maybe didn't work out, or having past memories, and kind of focusing our time and attention there, where, you know, there might be bright new possibilities, like actively kind of coming into our world, coming into our own harbor. And if we spend too much time, you know, dwelling on these past things that didn't work out, sometimes we don't see, you know, these big, vibrant possibilities that are on the horizon, in the harbor, wanting to come in for us. So I think this is just a gentle nudge from spirit here. If you do feel like you find yourself, you know, kind of caught on the past, going over past memories, mulling things over, you know, that can be a very natural a natural reaction to when things feel like they've gone wrong, or something's happened that we didn't expect or we didn't want to happen. You know, it's quite a natural reaction to go over those things again and again. But do watch it, because it can start to verge into the unhealthy if we get kind of caught there, and we find ourselves not able to really live in the present, or look forward to a new future, if we get too caught up on this sort of past looking energy. But my pile ones, I really want to, you know, reiterate, you've got this beautiful ten of Pentacles, this lovely King of Cups. So this is loving, you know, a master of the emotional world, a very loving person, mastery of love here. You've got the bluebird bringing in with gifts of happiness and peace that are coming for you. So I think the more that you can turn your attention to all of the positive things that you have in your life, what is truly present for you in your life now that's serving you, you know, any loving, beautiful feelings that you had in the past, those came from you. You are the owner of those loving feelings. And if you were able to direct those loving feelings towards other people in the past, you know, you will have others in your world to share those loving feelings with again. So please take heart in that message. All right, my pile one, that is the message that I have for you today from Spirit. I hope this has helped you to feel a little bit better. This was intended to be beneficial for you and your life. If you liked this reading, please click that like button down below. And if you have a moment to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate your support of the channel by doing that. So thank you very much. With that, I will say goodbye for today. Thank you so much for tuning into this reading. I wish you a wonderful day full of light, love, and boundless blessings, and I will see you in the next reading. Thank you. Hello, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading. This is your message for when you want to feel better. A quick reminder before I get started on your reading, this is not intended to be professional advice of any kind. If you do feel the need for professional advice, I encourage you to seek that out as appropriate. This is simply an offering of some words of encouragement and upliftment, an offering to help you consider new perspectives. If you do need professional advice, of course, please do seek that out. All right, let's get into your cards. So the card that you were drawn to in the intro is the Hawk card. It says, pay attention. A powerful message is being communicated to you now. Pay attention. A powerful message is being communicated to you now. You may be receiving signs and signals from the universe. It may be coming through in the form of birds. Birds may be a powerful message for you at the time. Maybe you have a particular bird that you look out for, or a bird that has meaning for you. Maybe you've been seeing a specific bird a lot. Maybe you're finding feathers. That might be something that's occurring for you as well. That could be a sign from the universe. So whatever the case, you are being communicated with from Spirit. Spirit is seeking to get your attention. So do be on the alert for those messages, those signs, those synchronicities. I'm also going to read you the definition from the book for this card as well, so that you have the intended meaning of that particular card. And it says, Hawk feather is a powerful messenger of communication as well as intuitive and visionary perception. This raptor is the messenger representing the light that illuminates darkness. In ancient Greece, the hawk was sacred to the sun god Apollo, and likewise in Egypt to the sun god Ra. Its connection to the sun further suggests hawks' amazing ability to see truths. Their nests are often high up in the hilltops of the tallest trees, and their flight overhead can signify a confirmation of your intuitive perceptions. These divine messengers tend to arrive at the perfect moment, especially when you need direction concerning your path in life. Hawk has flown in to deliver a special message to you today. The energy of Hawk confirms what you may already know, or it opens your spiritual perception so that you may receive the message. Tune in to this divinely guided communicator to see where you might receive more insight or information. Hawk directs you to see what you might have been missing. If you've been ignoring your own intuition or the synchronicities around you, it is time to listen and become aware now. The affirmation of the hawk: insight and inspiration are my divine messengers. I listen and accept their guidance. So beautiful card, my pile 2. It's very interesting. We have a lot about sort of getting a higher perspective, looking at things from a higher perspective going on in your reading here today. The first card out for you was the Hermit, and as you can see in this card, she's seated, high atop what might be a lighthouse there or some kind of structure, but she's got a very high position. The Magician in this card too is, being held up. There's a field down below, so this is, a very high perspective from high overhead. The Knight of Swords is in the air, flying high over a forest here. Even the Fool here, there's something kind of down below, underground. So this, relatively speaking, the Fool is starting from a higher perspective here. So there may be something for you about gaining a higher perspective, looking at things from a distance perhaps to gain a little more clarity about whatever situation you're dealing with. But really interesting how that kind of concept of being high up, gaining a higher perspective, acting maybe from a higher place, all of those things are very much apparent in your reading here today. So let's talk about how you might consider ways to feel better as you're coming to this reading. I did begin by asking Spirit to tell me a little bit about your current circumstance or what you're coming to this reading with. And I was shown the Hermit card and the Fool card, so two major arcanas. So I think you're at a very important place in time when you're coming to this reading. But the Hermit, immediately I heard loneliness. You may be someone who is experiencing some loneliness at this present time. As I was continuing to go through your cards, I heard, do I really have to go through this alone? So maybe you're facing making some kind of change in your life, and you're asking yourself, do I really have to go through this alone? This reading is coming forward with a lot of spiritual indicators here. We have this beautiful hawk. We have the Magician card here. And with this white goose and the white feather and the Knight of Swords, for me, that is a symbol of angelic presence or divine presence. And with the Hermit is very connected to the divine. So I think you really do have divine accompaniment on whatever change you want to set out and begin to make in your life. You may feel alone in the earthly material world, but I think in truth you are very much supported and accompanied by the divine throughout your journey. So you can take heart in just knowing that even though you may feel alone in some respects, on the earthly plane, you really are accompanied, supported, assisted as you go along your way. So do take heart with that. So I did get that sense of loneliness. Even the Fool here, this is a lone figure, often with an animal companion. So maybe you have an animal companion, or animals are very important to you. It's really curious. Traditionally, in the Fool, there's a dog accompanying the figure on the card. Here, it's a bird, and we have this hawk talking about, signals from birds. You've got birds in the Hermit. You've got birds, this goose on the Magician card, a feather here. Even the Seven of Swords has birds in the distance. So I do get the sense that for many of you watching, birds may be very significant in your life, whether they're signs for you or you have some relation to birds. So, with the Hermit and the Fool, I do see you really mulling over some kind of new beginning. You may be considering how to proceed with your future. Maybe you're feeling stuck in some regard. That might be the thing that's leading you to want to feel better. You're just not sure how to proceed, how to move forward. I get the sense, you are a wise person here with the Hermit card. You may have a tendency to overthink, especially with this Knight of Swords coming out here, and this next to the Seven of Swords. You might be somebody who gets kind of stuck in repetitive thinking, and sometimes finally you might just make an impulsive move because you need to launch yourself out of that circular thinking. But anyway, I do see you mulling over some kind of a big change. I think it's very important to you. You do really want a new beginning here with the Fool card coming out. Um, I think you are feeling this sense of loneliness. You may feel as if you don't know how to heal this sense of loneliness. That's perfectly understandable. I think loneliness can be, one of the greatest challenges we have in life. We're a social species. So when we do experience feeling alone or feeling unsupported, that is just not natural to us. It often, can lead us to feel as if life isn't working out for us in some way. If we're alone, sometimes we can feel rejected. So it can be a very difficult state of being or state of mind to work through. So I think just, Spirit is encouraging you to acknowledge any feelings of loneliness, to honor, any sense of feeling as if you have to meet some kind of challenge alone. And just to really understand that you have that spiritual backing as you do embark on creating this new change for yourself, this new life, this new way of being. With the Fool here, this is a whole new chapter in life that's waiting to open up for you. And I think you can't really see your way at the moment because we've got these two kind of S shapes here in the Fool card. She can't really see this sort of alligator figure that's kind of under her feet. And we've got this kind of S curve in the Seven of Swords. There's this sense of not really knowing where the winding path is going. And Spirit is recommending that you trust that, trust the signs and signals that you receive along the way. You're not always going to know exactly what your destination is going to be, but just to, trust the one step at a time kind of process that you take. And you really do have a beautiful ability here to create a bright new beginning for yourself. So with some of the other cards in your reading, we've got the Ace of Cups and the Seven of Swords. And I was asking Spirit sort of for some general advice for how you can feel better. And as you can see in both of these cards, they're clutching something to their heart. So Spirit really wants you to follow your heart, listen to your heart, listen even, I think, to your emotional body here with the Ace of Cups. I think, she's holding an egg, which looks to be something very valuable and precious, close to her heart. The Ace of Cups often can suggest some kind of beautiful gift from the universe, some beautiful, emotionally fulfilling opportunity that comes in for us. I think you may be receiving some kind of beautiful opportunity or insight, or some kind of event happens that opens up a new door for you here with this beautiful Ace of Cups. And really follow your heart when this comes into your being. With the Seven of Swords, I often think this is the card of strategic exits. Maybe you're leaving some kind of situation behind. And Spirit is saying, yes, it's really time for you to take this beautiful opportunity to follow your heart, to do the next thing that your heart is encouraging you to do, so that you can find this beautiful, bright new beginning. I think you may have been stuck in overthinking mode, perhaps a bit, with the Hermit and the Fool there coming out in those first two cards. You may be somebody who thinks very deeply about things. You process things very deeply. Changes are very important to you. You may be somebody who doesn't want to make any mistakes along the way. And with this reading, Spirit is attempting to sort of gently nudge you forward here. I think it might be time to maybe step outside of this overthinking phase and start to take some action, and just follow your heart along the way, and know that, if you're following your heart as you proceed, it's likely to sort of navigate you down this new journey that you're taking. All right, and then we have for you also the Magician card and the Knight of Swords. And I mentioned, we've got these two white feathers here, which to me suggests angelic guidance, spiritual guidance, spiritual backing even. The Knight of Swords, I think, can be a fast-moving energy. So with the Knight of Swords and some of these, like this Hermit, which tends to be a bit of a slower, kind of more anchored position, I think this is moving away from maybe being stuck, thinking things over and over and over, moving into some kind of action here in the future. I think taking some action might help you to feel a little bit better, Spirit is telling me. Even if you can take a small step toward your dreams today, no matter how small, it can be, just putting a little bit of money in a savings account, maybe if you're saving up for something, or sending off an email to ask a question about something that you're wondering about that might help you bring your dream into reality. Just some small step is really going to help you a great deal, because with that step, you'll begin to take another and another and another. Also, for some of you, I'm hearing sharing your story So, whatever that means to you, I think this journey that you're about to embark on, many people are curious about this here. And this Knight of Swords is telling me, communicate your journey with others. With these two things being close to the chest, obviously you're not going to want to share with everybody. There might be people who, use your discernment. You don't want to share your dreams with anybody who's going to discourage you or not support you. You might feel the need to maybe not let them in exactly on your plans. But I think there is an audience of some kind who's going to be very interested in your journey. It may, I'm not really getting a strong sense of timing. It may be down the line in the future. Maybe you write about this journey that you go on, this new change, this new chapter of your life. Perhaps you write about it at some future point or turn it into some kind of story that you share with others in some way. But just consider that as you go forward, that others are very interested in what you're doing, this new chapter that you're starting. Maybe it's a new chapter they themselves want to um, make happen. So, I think you're gaining valuable information along the way, and it is something you may want to communicate with others. With the Magician here, I really see you stepping into some power, your ability to manifest. Again, kind of getting away maybe from this really thinking, really pondering stage where you have been, and begin to see where you have power to make things happen. Again, with taking these small steps, you're going to start to experience the power that you have to create the life that you want. And you have this beautiful King of Pentacles that came out as the final card in your reading, which is a card of abundance, which is a card of somebody who has mastered the physical world, who has mastered, they've mastered money, they've mastered property, they've mastered business. So I see you, moving forward to this place where you've really you have the intelligence and the resources and the wherewithal and the insight to really navigate the material world to create this beautiful new chapter that you're wanting to bring into being for yourself. And also, this yellow, the color yellow, is often associated with our solar plexus chakra, which is our point of power, our point of feeling that, yes, we can be effective in the world. Yes, we can make the changes that we want to make. Yes, we can have the life that we desire. And with it coming next to the Magician, I really do see you starting to step into this place of like, oh, look, I made that happen. And oh, look, this thing worked out for me. And oh, look, wow, I did that. And then this worked out and I got a positive result. And I see you building momentum in that way and making, a beautiful new change for yourself. And, again, just know you may feel very alone at this stage. I think, as you go forward and share your story, particularly, you're going to hear a lot from other people that they know exactly how you're feeling. They understand exactly the kind of new chapter that you were building for yourself. And, they too have been feeling the same things and desiring the same things. All right, and I also drew some oracle cards for you here to close out your reading. So we have the first card that came out for you from the Green Witch Oracle deck is the Earthworm card, and it says clarity and rumination. Clarity and rumination. And we talked about that that sense of ruminating, thinking things over, going over things again and again. So I think as you're coming to this reading, that may resonate for you. You've probably been deeply processing something, and don't discount this. This is a very important stage of having a new beginning, and I think you've done that rumination, that deep processing, that digestion of everything you've needed to digest in order to consider where your life is going. So, I think this card is coming through as, confirmation that you've completed this process. You've done a beautiful job of digesting, ruminating, thinking over, pondering. And now is the time to start to claim your clarity and move forward. And then finally, here we have or not finally, we have one more card after this. But next, from the Green Witch, we have the So card. And this says planning, setting intentions, and optimism. Planning, setting intentions, and optimism. So here I really see you, we're going from the soil to the seed here. So I think you've done the work of preparing the soil for your next chapter in life, and you're now at the point where you can start to plant seeds. You can make concrete plans, you can set intentions for what you want to bring into being, and look forward with optimism here, especially with this beautiful Magician card coming out and the King of Pentacles, a card of abundance. I think you can look forward to some very positive times, some very positive events happening for you, for creating the life that you desire. It might be a bit of a windy road, but that's part of the adventure of life. I think you can really look forward to your new beginning with optimism here, with this So card coming out. And then finally, I drew for you from the Moonology Manifestation Oracle. And the card that came out for you is a lovely card. Look at this. We have Believe in Your Good Luck. Believe in your good luck. And I may have mentioned earlier this Ace of Cups. This is often some kind of gift from the universe that's emotionally fulfilling, that speaks to our heart. So if you have had an opportunity or an event or news of some kind that meets this criteria, and if it hasn't arrived yet, I think it soon will. But I think you're going to be experiencing good luck if you haven't already, and believe in it. Trust it. As I said, I see Spirit all over your reading. Spirit really does want to support you in this new chapter of life, and I think they're going to be supporting you with some good luck, some beautiful optimism to help carry you forward in a bright new beginning. So, take heart, my pile twos, if you have been feeling a bit stuck, a bit kind of maybe lost in rumination a little bit. I think you can start to take action at this time, and good luck is in your favor at the current moment. So I think things can start to positively turn for you in a really beautiful way. All right, my pile twos, that is the reading that I have for you today. I hope this has helped you to feel better. If it did help you to feel better, please click that like button down below. If you haven't already become a subscriber, I also invite you to subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free, and it does help to support my channel here on YouTube, so thank you for that. And with that, I will wish you a wonderful day full of light, love, and boundless blessings, and I will see you in the next reading. Goodbye. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome. This is your reading for when you want to feel better. Just a quick note before I get into your cards. This reading is for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to offer any kind of clinical advice or any kind of professional advice in any sense. So if you are feeling the need for support by a professional, I encourage you to seek that out. This is simply some messages of love and messages of offering a new perspective and messages designed to help you consider new ways of thinking. All right, so let's take a look at your cards. So the first card that you chose, this beautiful white feather with the black stripe, this is the White Turkey card, and it says, "The power to heal the earth is within you." The power to heal the earth is within you. So immediately with this card, I'm getting this sense that you're somebody who cares very deeply about the earth. You may be somebody who's very concerned with animals and animal welfare, animal well-being. You may also be somebody who is very concerned about the earth in terms of what's happening to people on earth. You may be somebody who follows current events closely. You're really concerned about sort of the developments on earth. Some of you may be considering the health and well-being of the earth itself, the environment. So lots of possibilities with this card. It is really a beautiful card. It does speak of healing, and the turkey is often a sign of fertility, of things sort of blooming and growing and being healthy. So I think it's a very positive indicator for your reading. I did begin your reading by asking Spirit kind of where you're at currently as you come to this reading. And we got the Nine of Cups in reverse and the Page of Cups as our answer. And that is telling me that you may be feeling a little stuck at the moment. I'm seeing fulfillment not really happening for you right now. With the Page of Cups here, you might be feeling like it's going to take a miracle in order for you to reach your desires. You might be feeling like you're waiting on a miracle in order to reach your desires. There's some kind of fulfillment that feels out of reach for you. That's what the cards are telling me here. So let's get a little deeper into your reading and see what Spirit is offering here and how you might be able to begin to feel better. With the Devil card and the Death card, I do see a transformation happening for you. You're in the process of a transformation at this current time. So do take heart that however you're feeling now will indeed change, and you do have the power to assist with this change. With this Devil card here, immediately, especially with it next to the Four of Cups here, I'm getting a sense of a bit of pessimism. And of course, that makes a lot of sense with the White Turkey card. You may be feeling a bit pessimistic about the state of the planet at this time. You might be feeling a little pessimistic about, watching kind of the events of the world take place. That might leave you feeling, a bit down here with the Four of Cups. This is often a card of a sort of a meh or a melancholy feeling. So you may be having feelings of maybe some sadness, maybe some grief relative to events that you're either witnessing in the world or hearing about in the world. And with the Devil, I think these things are a bit sticky and they're kind of clinging. You may feel that they sort of cling to you a little bit. So Spirit does have some advice here. As your reading was beginning, I was hearing robins singing outside, and that is often the sign of spring. It's a very hopeful sign. So Spirit is coming through in this reading today to encourage you to be more hopeful here. I think the transformation that is occurring within you is perhaps a move away from some of these pessimistic thoughts kind of dominating your world and moving into a state of being where you can feel more empowered so that you can see where you can take steps to make life better, healthier, easier, not only for yourself. I think this will also affect other people. But I think at the present time, you may need to simply focus on your own reality. And I think others may sort of catch up as time goes on here. It's interesting, though. I do see a lot of cards related to animals here. We've got, this sense of talking to animals here with this Page of Cups. It looks like she's almost talking to that goldfish. Even in the Death card, she's sort of facing that butterfly as if she's talking to it. Here we have, almost the animal kind of relating to the person, kind of in the opposite way. So it's, animals relating to people, people relating to animals. So that is coming through strongly, that some of you might feel a bit disheartened by the way animals are being treated. That might be something that you're working with at the present time. For others of you, I think this is simply environmental matters. You see the way the earth is being handled, is being treated, and it might lead you into a state of sorrow, perhaps, or disappointment. I'm getting a sense of disappointment here. But Spirit is bringing you this reading to remind you that, you do have power in this situation. Um, Spirit does not want you to feel discouraged or to let the feeling of discouragement dictate your reality. There are steps that you can take to improve your relationship to the world around you, to other people, I'm hearing, to animals. You can do what you feel is right and good. And Spirit is saying, please do not be held back in any way by the actions of other people. Spirit wants you to continue on your course of, positive steps that you can take. Oh, I'm hearing examples like, plant a tree, or, maybe take in an animal for adoption if you have the resources to do so. If there are ways that you can, advocate for certain people who are disadvantaged, or advocate for the ways that people are being treated in the world that don't seem right to you. This is really, this King of Swords card is saying, really stitch together your own reality. I see you as being a light worker here with this King of Swords card. She's got this beautiful light at the crown of her head, this sort of wand that she's holding, which is a needle, I guess, in this image, but it looks like a wand here that is filled with light. And she's stitching together the path of light here. So this reading is telling me that you are really a light worker. Spirit does not want you to be held back by many of the disheartening stories, many of the disheartening events that you may be encountering in the world. You can retain your hope here, and simply by taking, persistent small actions. It's noticing the space between all the little points of light here. You might be able to just kind of stitch together one stitch, and then, kind of watch how things unfold, and then you'll stitch another stitch of light here until eventually, there's this beautiful string of lights. With the Death card, there is this transformation. So I think the transformation is you gaining power over some of these more pessimistic thoughts that may be sort of hanging about in your reality. I see you gaining power over these disappointments that might be kind of holding you back. Often if there's a lot of disappointments, we can get into a space where we say, oh, why even try? There's so much working against me, or the world seems to be going a different way. I see you breaking through that with the Death card here, and I see you taking positive, optimistic actions regardless with this King of Swords here, so that you start to learn that you can create this beautiful reality that you believe in, even if it feels that there are forces working against you, or there's some unhealthiness around you that it feels discouraging. You can still stand in your positivity and your hope, and you can take actions and take steps to make positive things happen, and feel more empowered, I think, with the world, and less of this kind of meh or a sadness feeling that may come from that which you are witnessing around you. All right, I did also draw for you some oracle cards. So let's take a look at the oracle cards we have for you. The first one is from the Green Witch Oracle. And the card that was drawn for you is the Moss Agate card, and it says positivity and change. So the Moss Agate, again, very in line with this sort of earth angel, light worker, earth steward kind of energy that's coming through here. Positivity and change are the words on that card. So I think you really are needing more positivity in your world. I think that is going to help you transform into this more empowered state. I think that Spirit is guiding you into. I'm going to read you the book definition of this card as well for additional guidance. It says, Moss Agate, change can be daunting. The Moss Agate card reminds you that stasis, while comfortable, denies you the growth and development that your spirit needs to evolve. Moss Agate offers you the foundation or a safe space to explore and plan for the future. You are holding back from change because you feel unprepared. Moss Agate can help. Moss Agate attracts positive energy, a boon when you are uncertain about shifts and transformations in life. And we have this transformation card here. Call on this stone to help set good foundations and prepare yourself for future change, or simply when you crave emotional balance. The reflection statement of this card: is there an upcoming change that you have been avoiding that you need to make peace with? So again, this sense of maybe needing to make a change that I think you will ultimately find fulfilling, but working with whatever has been holding you back. If you can kind of make peace with those inner obstacles that I think are holding you back, you will see positive progress forward. And we have two more oracle cards for you. This is from the Moonology Manifestation deck. The first card that came out for you from that deck is the full moon in Cancer, and it says, let your fears dissolve. Let your fears dissolve. So yeah, you may be working with some fear here around, taking these positive steps, making these positive changes. I think working with those fears is going to really help you to make positive progress forward. I think optimism can help you to counterbalance some of these fears as well. They may be kind of getting the upper hand at the time that you're coming across this reading. And then the final card that we have for you is full quarter moon in Sagittarius. Believe in your good luck. Believe in your good luck. Again, I see some disappointments weighing on you here in this reading. And often when we experience a lot of disappointments, we can feel that, good luck is impossible. It's not going to happen for us because we've had so many disappointments. And Spirit is coming through right now to say, believe in your good luck. Good luck can happen. Positive developments can turn out in a good, positive way. Good things can happen to you. Good luck can grace your life, your world. Believe in your good luck and move forward sort of confidently, just knowing that this good luck is your birthright. All right, my pile 3, that is the message that I have for you from Spirit. I hope this has helped you to feel better. If you did like this reading, please click the like button down below. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I'd be grateful if you could take a moment to click that subscribe button. It does really support me and my work here on YouTube. Thank you so much for your time here today. I wish you a wonderful day filled with light, love, and boundless blessings, and I will see you in the next reading. Thank you.